Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. You will see I'm starting with DXY today. If you realize my channel, you know that I always like starting with US 100. But today I'll start with the dollar index. Okay, so today I'll be covering the Euro USD, the dollar index first, Euro USD, GBPUSD, US 100, US 500, and US 30. So we are going across all the pairs that I call on this channel. Okay, so those are the stuff that we're expecting. Please endeavor to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to be receiving more of this content. So, as you guys can remember, the last time on the DXY, I was looking at this inefficiency right here on the weekly time frame. So, I was looking at it. I was looking at some kind of return into premium array. Let me draw down to daily time frame, show you guys what I was showing. So I was expecting some kind of a run higher to the market structure, fair value gap, then that will take us into this fair value gap right here, which is a deep premium for a continuous sell. Okay, that was my initial expectation here. But right now, as you all can see, it dropped lower. Okay, so this is one of those times I can get it wrong. It's normal. Okay, but if you all have been following this channel, you will know that we have over 80% accuracy here, okay, based on calling price direction, market direction, okay, in all the pairs that I call here. Okay, you can go and check the records, look at all the videos there, it's still there. I don't change anything, I don't delete videos here also. Okay, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. And you can't manipulate time here. Okay, everything is called live here. So now let me go down to the weekly time frame. So right now, looking at where price is right now, I can see how price run buy side liquidity traded into this fair value gap here. Okay, left a portion of it open and then dropped lower. So that is sign. Those are signs of bearishness. Okay, here I was expecting price to trade into premium, but didn't get that. Price was so weak that it had to break lower. Okay, I'm aiming for sell side liquidity. This sell side liquidity right here, this low and this low. So for the sake of simplicity, so it won't be like we're targeting something too far, I'll have to mark out this low also as possible target, also sell side liquidity. So now looking at the weekly time frame, going down to what we have today, I'm looking at this order block right here. Let me move this. I'm looking at this order block right here. Okay, so I'm looking at the lower portion of this order block, the midpoint of the consequent decrement, that the consequent decrement of this week, and then the open. Okay, so I will have to mark that out. So those are places I expect sensitivity going into next week. Okay, so this is right here. By setting this kind of retracement into this, then we drop lower. Also, I'm watchful of this week right here. I said the other time, weeks are gaps. Whenever I see a week, I treat it as a fair value gap also. So I always look at the consequent recruitment of weeks. Okay, that's the place I expect some kind of sensitivity. And if we break it without respecting it, then there's a very high chance that we're very bearish. Okay, so I'm looking at that as place where I can get a kind of, let me say, a kind of speed bump. Okay, can expect it somewhere there. And also I'm looking at this sell side right here, which is below here. Okay, so these are targets I'm looking for the going into the next week. So I'm expecting some kind of retracement into this, like I've said before. So dropping down to daily time frame, this is that same consequent equation, that same week I marked out on daily time frame. That's the lower portion, the open, sorry, the low of the order block, the consequent equivalent of the week, and then the open of the order block. Okay, on the weekly time frame, it's transposed here. So looking at it from the lens of the daily time frame, you can see we have a kind of breaker. Okay, we have low, high, lower low. Okay, so expecting price to trade back into this and then give us a dump lower. So right now I'm not bullish on the dollar index and bearish on the dollar index. Okay, and bearish on the dollar index so long as this high stays intact. Okay, and bearish on the dollar index. So I'm just going to trade back below, trade around here, and then we drop lower, aiming for sell side liquidity. Okay, so now for sake of clarity, you can also use the Fibonacci for the targeting. So measuring from this swing high to the swing low right here, this swing low high to low. So to call for targets, I'm looking at a standard deviation 2.5. I'm looking at 1.5, 2, and 2.5. So that also makes you understand the reasons why I chose these levels, okay, for targeting. Okay, so having that in mind, since we are bearish on the DXY, since I'm looking bearish on DXY, what does that signal for GBPUSD and the EURUSD? That's the opposite. Okay, so it means that I'm looking bullish on the GBPUSD and EURUSD. So going for GBPUSD first, you guys can remember the last time I was looking for kind of price to trade into discount, then we surge higher, but we can see we had a kind of a manipulation to the upside and then dropped lower. Okay, so while I'm looking at this right now, I'm seeing this run on this low as a kind of sweep. Okay, it's kind of price taking liquidity below this low. That's what I'm saying it as, because I can't see this as a great market structure to go lower because I'm looking bearish on the DXY already. So that gives me insight on what I'm expecting on the other pairs, okay, that are directly correlated with it also, or rather inversely correlated with it. Okay, so now we had a consolidation here, kind of manipulation to the upside now, and we are lower. So now expecting price to continue upward movement. So let me go to the weekly time frame. So looking at the weekly time frame right here, I'm looking at this fair value gap right here. I don't want to see price trade below consequent increment of this. I want to see a portion of this fair value gap stay open. Okay, I want a portion of it to stay open. I don't want to see price trade to the lower portion of it at all. Okay, that will give me more confidence on this bullishness that I'm expecting. Okay, I'm also looking at this breaker right here, but probably there's no need for that because I can just use this fair value gap here to monitor price. Okay, also what's full of this week right here. So what's full of this week right here. Okay, so same as we had in the DXY, I can mark that out also, the consequent representative of the week also. Okay, so it could act as a kind of a speed bump. So when we are trading, we can use those areas as targeting, which is consequent representative of this. Okay, while trading, I can use this as targeting also. Take partial. Okay, setting higher prices. I'm looking at this buy side liquidity around here. Okay, that's my draw on liquidity. Okay, buy side liquidity, buy side, so looking at this as drawn liquidity. Okay, so we had the first rejection on this fair value gap here, expecting a continuation of that next week or going into this week. No, also I'm looking at this run on this low as a kind of SMC divergence. Okay, when I get to the EURUSD, I'll make it clearer to you guys. So it's obvious that I'm looking at this fair value gap. If I want to refine it, okay, it's obvious that I'm looking at this fair value gap because it's on the upper portion of this bigger fair value gap right here. Okay, creating SMT divergence here. So I'm expecting some kind of run to higher prices. Okay, from here to the right. All right, so having that in mind, I'll drop down to the EURUSD. The EURUSD. Here we go. So you can see the SMT I talked about. You can see this low is intact here, while in GBPUSD, this low has been taken. Okay, that's the SMT divergence I was talking about right now. So going back to the EURUSD, let me drop to the weekly time frame. So now, just as same as we had in the dollar index, I'm looking at this order block right here, and I'm looking at the open of it. Since we've traded into the consequence of the week, since we traded into the week, that is the high of the week, the midpoint of the week. Now we've not traded into the consequent encroachment and the open of the candle. So that's where I'm looking at right now. Okay, so price should tap into it and then run higher. I'm also being watchful of this week right here. Also, consequent encroachment of it. I'm also being watchful of that. Also, so having that in mind here, okay, and also looking at buy side liquidity as a draw. So I'm looking at this relative equal highs, these two highs, but for the sake of, well, I can use this first, okay, as buy side for the meantime, but I'll be looking at both buy side liquidities here, okay, that's what I'm looking at. So going to daily time frame, still the same. All this series of down close candle, I see it as one order block, okay, so expecting price to trade down to it and then we run for buy side liquidity right here. So for the dollar index, let me go back to dollar index so I can call those price levels there. For dollar index, I'm looking at 101.270 as first draw in liquidity. Then I'm looking at this low, which is 100.149 as second draw in liquidity, and 999.558 as third draw in liquidity. So these are two levels I'll be watching out for while framing this trade. Okay, those are two levels I'm watching out on the dollar index. Okay, so going to the GBPUSD, I'm looking at this high, the high of this candle, which is, let me mark it out with this. I'm looking at the high of this candle, which is roughly around 1.32102. Okay, first buy side, then second buy side is around 1.34327. Okay, then for the EURUSD, I'm looking at first draw on liquidity, which is this high right here. I'm looking at 1.11460, and the second draw on liquidity, which is this high. I'm looking at 1.12152. Okay, and then the last draw on liquidity is 1.12733. Okay, so having gone through that, let's go down to the US 100. As you can remember last time when I made the analysis on this pair, I was looking for lower prices. I wasn't looking for higher prices. We're looking for a run on the liquidity here, sell side liquidity, roughly around this level, around 18,313.2. You can check the last video, it's there. We also, at some point, we're also looking at the consequent equivalent of this week right here, and also sell side liquidity resting below here. Okay, those were the targets we were looking for last week, and we are looking at these candles open. Okay, you see how we traded into it and then dropped. I think it's clear on the daily time frame. We're looking at this fair value gap right here. Okay, and now you see how we rejected from it, just as expected. Okay, so guys, if you are following me on this video, please, I would like you to guys to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Okay, this will also give me encouragement to be doing more of this. Okay, because we have a lot of this. From where this is coming from, there are a lot more for you guys, for real. So going down to what we have, Okay, for today, I'm expecting I'm still expecting lower prices on this pair. I'm not bullish on this pair yet. I'm not bullish. So I like the way we opened for the week because I was first of all looking at these candles, lower portion of this candle, okay, before the open. So we opened a gap lower. So now my attention draws into this new week opening gap right here. Okay, that's where my attention draws. And also I want you guys to pay attention also to this week. So this week right here. So looking at the consequent increment of the week right here. Okay, and pay attention to that also because we might decide to go through this new week opening gap and then slam lower, but we're still looking for lower prices here. There's no bullishness here, in my opinion, yet. Okay, it's bearish to proven otherwise. So I'm looking at this sell side liquidity below here. This is a low hanging fruit objective right here. Sell side around 16,175.7. Okay, a sell side liquidity. Then also I'm looking at this sell side liquidity below here also, which is this fair value gap right here, which is around the open will be around 15,685.2. Okay, so these are the two draws on liquidity I would like to just call out on this pair for the rest of for this week, okay, as targets. Okay, so eyes on this consequent equivalent of this week right here, eyes on this candles week, but I doubt we'll get up to this. Okay, this is CPI week. You guys should remember that. Also keep that in mind. Okay, and be careful while trading. Don't trade CPI. I always advise that also. Okay, so now I'm expecting a kind of retracement into this, then drop lower. Okay, and whenever we go below this, okay, I'm looking at how we react on the lower portion of it. So with the way price is right now, I don't just believe that price can just open and just start running lower. No, you have to have a kind of a retracement up a little bit before dropping lower. That's ideal. Okay, that's the kind of open, high, low, and close kind of power trade. Okay, that's why I always call premium arrays whenever I'm expecting lower prices. I call premium arrays first. Okay, then looking at how we react from there, then to seek those liquidities I'm looking for, or those inefficiencies that I'm looking for. So going to the US 500, you can see last week we were looking for this level here. Okay, we're looking for something around 5,388.1. That was the first target, and we're also looking at the consequent increment of this week right here also. Okay, and you can see how price drive and smashed all of it, and also opened this week with a gap. So I'm looking at something similar to what I outlined on the US 100 here also. I'm still looking at this new week opening gap, and also looking at this consequent increment of this week. We can retrade into that and then keep pricing lower. But I like this low. I'm looking at this as a draw on liquidity. Okay, I'm looking at this low as a draw on liquidity. Let me mark it out. So I'm looking at 4,000. I'll just give you a rough price around 4,661. Our first buy side liquidity. Buy side. Then I'm looking lower also into this inefficiency right here. Here. Okay, so I'm looking at this inefficiency right here. So I'm looking at 4,510.3. Okay, as also a drawn liquidity on the US 500. So going out to the US 30, this is already a long video. This is the last one though. But again, this is so good for everyone. So also last week we were expecting kind of run into this, and also this sell side liquidity right here. And you can see we have that already right now. Okay, so I'm looking at this also new week opening gap. We can trade up. I'm looking at the consequent increment of this also. Looking at it here. So these are places that has my interest going into the week. Okay, we are starting. Okay, I like this also, but I'm not sure. I don't really want to see us trade all the way back into this. Okay, but we can week into it, but I'm looking at this control equation for this week. That's what drives my interest. Okay, that's the W1 CE week. That's what I'm looking. Okay, for then expecting a drop into this inefficiency right here. Mark out. I like this fair value gap as a draw. Okay, so and also this one also, but I'll use this based on a draw for the weekly time frame. Okay, so I'm looking at some kind of drop into 34,928. That's what I'm looking for on the US 30. Okay, also looking for some kind of tracement into these levels and then dropping lower. This new week opening gap. Today is Sunday, so we just opened. So let's just watch and see what we have for the week. Okay, so guys, if you enjoyed this type of content, please endeavor to like, share, and subscribe. This video, I believe that this video is very helpful to you guys also, because I like sharing tips like this, so it will help you guys going into the week. Okay, so I wish you guys good trading week. I wish you guys good luck also. Please always remember to apply proper risk management. It's very important while trading for the week. So it's CPI week also. We have CPI towards the end of the week. That's CPI and PPI. That is Thursday, Friday. So you guys should also pay attention to that. Don't gamble on CPI, please. I always say that. Never gamble on CPI. There are always better trades to take that will give you good RR. So there is no need for you to gamble on CPI on days like that. Okay? You can trade after CPI, but not on the CPI event, so you won't blow your account. I'm just saying this for the newbies. Okay? Just for whoever needs to hear it. Okay? So I wish you guys good trading week. Peace, guys. Have a nice day. Bye.